There were two artists whose work I loved growing up. One was Harry Anderson. Can you guess the other one? Hi, I'm Connie Vandeman Jeffrey, and this is All God's People. Did you grow up with these wonderful Harry Anderson pictures? I did. Popular as an illustrator in Adventist books and magazines, I don't remember a time without them. What Happened to Your Hands is a favorite of mine, and I'm guessing you might have loved it too. There was another artist whose work was deeply valued by my mom and dad, especially my dad. Do you recognize his work? Norman Rockwell was a rival for being the favorite, and I grew up loving these paintings. My father was particularly fond of a series of 4 paintings that Rockwell created in 1943, years before I was born, in images that have become symbols of our common heritage and culture. Rockwell celebrated freedom of speech, freedom from want, freedom from fear, and freedom to worship. And even though there was never a turkey on the table at my parents' house, the illustration of a family gathered around a Thanksgiving dinner, which Rockwell entitled Freedom from Want, is a warm and affirming portrayal of the American celebration of Thanksgiving that established the image of what our own Thanksgiving gathering should include. As we approach Thanksgiving 2019, this image from 76 years ago still speaks to our hearts. But the freedom we want to talk about today is one that has always been extremely important to Seventh Day Adventists: freedom to worship. Seventh Day Adventists have been vocal and persistent advocates of religious freedom for every person since the earliest days of our church. Perhaps it's because of the fundamental belief on the nature of humanity that states, man and woman were made in the image of God, with individuality, the power and freedom to think and to do. Though created free beings, each is an indivisible unity of body, mind, and spirit, dependent upon God for life and breath and all else. Surely our advocacy of religious freedom is rooted in our understanding of who we are before God. Pastor Bradford Newton, Executive Secretary of the Pacific Union Conference, dropped by our All God's People studio recently and talked about the importance of religious freedom.
Why do Seventh Day Adventists care so deeply about religious freedom and religious liberty? As I've thought about it, I think about our own history from the late 1880s forward. And I know that the essence of religious liberty ministry in the Seventh Day Adventist Church is the gospel. It's not primarily about self-protection or about keeping ourselves and our own rights. It's about a witness for the gospel in the public square, in legislatures, in courts, in businesses. And the essence of the gospel, of course, is the freedom to choose or to not choose to follow Christ, to follow one's faith. I'm so thankful that in doing this, the Seventh Day Adventist Church Religious Liberty Ministry focuses on helping members and even those who are not members of our church to be able to express their faith and to be able to have the opportunity to have their faith accommodated in the public square of their work, particularly. I look forward to the time before Jesus comes that prophecy tells us that the world will come to a place of making decisions. And we want to be in the place where people look at Seventh-day Adventists and said that we stood for what was right, for freedom of choice, for not coercing the conscience at a time when it was peaceful, relatively peaceful, to a time where the ultimate choices are made. And I believe that at that time, many people will come to accept Christ and be ready for His return because of the witness that we've provided through Religious Liberty Ministry.
Hearing Pastor Newton speak so fervently about our commitment to religious freedom makes me proud of our heritage and faith and commitment. Here in the Pacific Union, the Church State Council is dedicated to promoting religious freedom. Through education, legislative advocacy, and litigation, the Council works to fight religious discrimination, bigotry, and intolerance. The Council provides legal representation for persons of all faiths who suffer religious discrimination. This is a ministry concerned with matters of conscience and is an expression of some of our deepest and most fervently held beliefs. I asked Alan Reinach, Director of the Church State Council, to share his perspective on the most important issues facing the Church and our members in the area of religious liberty and our freedoms.
When most Americans think about religious liberty, they think about the issues that are in the news, that are in the courts and the Supreme Court. They don't realize how many Americans face conflicts in the workplace, day in, and day out. How many lose their jobs? Here at the Church State Council, it has been our privilege over the years not only to represent people of all faiths who lose their jobs, not just Seventh-day Adventists, but also to work effectively to expand statutory protections, expand the laws that protect our civil rights. For example, just this past year in California, we've expanded the statute of limitations for civil rights claims from 1 year to 3. This is huge. How many times church members come to me and complain about having lost a job because of Sabbath, but it's past the 1-year time limit and they're out of luck? Also, just in the past year, we have filed 4 new cases in court of Sabbath discrimination, and somehow it seems coincidentally perhaps that all 4 are Hispanic Americans, American-born, English-speaking Hispanics, who are all recent members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. It seems that Sabbath problems in work, even though we have the best legal protections that we've ever had, they're still expanding, and it's keeping us very busy. But we not only represent Seventh-day Adventists, we've had clients of many different faiths: Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, Mormon, you name it. Even people of no faith who are discriminated against. Because, as you heard Elder Newton say, we take liberty of conscience seriously, and we take our values seriously, and we practice the golden rule. And so we defend the rights of conscience for everyone.
Thank you, Alan. Please pray for our leaders and for those who work on our behalf to protect our religious freedom. Jesus said, "The thief does not come except to steal and to kill and to destroy. I have come that they may have life and that they may have it more abundantly." In a world of so many uncertainties, with so many challenges to our freedoms and even our faith, our eyes are fixed on Jesus, who comes into our lives each day with grace and power and authority. May our faith in Him be strong. For all God's people, I'm Connie Jeffrey.